Thank you, dear Minister, Ambassador, dear participants. Hyvät ystävät, hyvät kuulijat, Chair Venner. It is really a great honor for me to address the Nordic Baltic Youth Summit this morning. I want to thank the Finnish National Youth Council and the youth sector for bringing the Council of Europe into this very important conversation. As we all know, these are decisive days for our continent, for Europe, and for the world. This week's peace talks on Ukraine have gained momentum. Every move is watched. The outcome is uncertain. But it is a time for action. In many of the areas now on the table, the Council of Europe is already at work. It is an important work. For example, on democratic reconstruction or on accountability, because those are the foundations of just and lasting peace. But as we speak, and as we know, strikes are still hitting Ukrainian cities. Lives are being lost, and rights are being violated. This is the reality. This is the reality Ukraine and Europe are confronting right now. And to be young in this Europe today is to live inside that tension. You see, peace is not just about stopping war. Peace is about the kind of societies that come after it. So for all of you in this room, for all of us together in this room, what do you expect, what do we expect together from democracy today? That is the question. And that question feels different from different generations. And it feels different for your generation, I'm addressing the youngest people here in this room, that it did for mine. I can just tell you, when I was 20, it was in the 90s, quite a long time ago. I thought, and the impression, general impression was that the next decades would be bright. For decades, the future looked clear, stable, and full of opportunity. But what is the situation today? For today's 20 years old, the opposite is true. It's difficult to have an idea what reality will look like in 5 years. And neither do those who are helping to shape that future. Let me just give you a small anecdote that I lived earlier this year. It was in Paris, AI Summit in February. And it was a dinner in the evening, at the Élysée Palace. And Sam Altman was participating to this dinner. It was an open conversation. And, someone asked Sam Altman, Mr. Altman, it's the founder of ChatGPT, OpenAI. He was asked, what do you think? What do you think we will be with artificial intelligence in 5 years? Where do you think we will be in 5 years and artificial intelligence in 5 years? And the answer from Sam Altman was, in 5 years, I have no idea. 5 years, it is an eternity. I think this answer has something unacceptable, because I know that for you and also for me, we all intend to be here in 5 years and to have good lives and perspectives and good opportunities. That means if one for the major changes that we have in the technology and the world today, one of the major actors is telling us no idea what will happen in 5 years, because 5 years is an eternity, this must give us something to think about. And at the same time, that answer captures the uncertainty of the moment we are living in. And you know this uncertainty firsthand. because you have already lived through a pandemic, through the rise of generative AI, just mentioning this, through the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, not mentioning the start of the war in 2014. You have grown up amid successive crises, the financial crisis 2008, the debt crisis, the crisis of multilateralism, the climate crisis. I mean, this is not just a sequence of crises. This is the perfect storm. And when uncertainty becomes permanent, then perspective is lost. And when perspective is lost, then trust in institutions erodes. And exactly that matters. It matters at a time when Europe is rebuilding military power on a historic scale. Rearmament is necessary, no doubt, but it is only safe. It is only safe if democracy and institutions remain strong enough to control it. That's exactly what is at stake at the moment where we speak. And I believe that trust starts with listening. And at the Council of Europe, and thank you for the very kind presentation about the Council of Europe. You know, this institution was founded just after the World War II, 1949, by Churchill and others, on the idea, never again, what was happening then. 75 years, 76 years now, 46 countries, 46 member states, all Europe, geographical Europe, and the Europe of the values working together. And we organize every year what we call the World Democracy Forum. And it was just a few weeks ago, and we asked people from across Europe a simple question, very simple question. What is putting democracy under the most pressure right now? And the first concern was manipulation, disinformation, hate speech, and the way social media is being used to divide and deceive. And we have seen this play out in recent parliamentary elections, in Czechia, for example, or in the Republic of Moldova, just to name few examples. And that's exactly why initiatives like Finland's Fakta Bari are so important. Exactly for this reason it is so important to have those kind of initiatives in helping people recognize false claims before they take hold. Polarization came up again and again, as well as the normalization of extreme rhetoric. It was also mentioned. And one concrete warning stood out. Economic insecurity, falling living standards, and the sense that the system no longer works for everyone. That was the discussion that we had in this context. And at this World Forum from Democracy, we also asked a second question to the people present for those several days in Strasbourg. And the question was, who needs to be more involved to make our democracy more resilient? And the answer was clear. Young people, activists, civil society, and underrepresented voices. But interestingly, it will be not a surprise for you, young people were equally clear about something else. They do not want just symbolic consultation. They don't want youth washing, but real consultation and real participation. And last month in Malta, Europe's minister responsible for youth agreed on a clear standard. Think together, think all together, think with young people, learn from all of us together, and also clearly from young people, participate and act with young people and for them. And when that standard, if that standard will be taken seriously, it works. And here in Finland, youth councils, also in neighboring countries, I know how you are working here, gave young people real voice and real responsibility. And the youth election, nuorisovalit, I hope the pronunciation is okay, yeah? Gives them real practice in democracy. Someone was laughing. That means my accent was not okay, I think. Probably not, huh? I will learn for the next time. And at this World Forum for Democracy, we had the last question. And the last question was straightforward. What solutions would actually make democracy stronger? What do you think we could make now to make democracy stronger? And the answers were very practical. Give people the tools to recognize manipulation, to recognize deepfakes, to recognize foreign interference. And just by the way, about the deepfakes, not so easy. I mean, we are very soon not more able at the technical level to recognize deepfakes from real information. And for me, I see exactly how I act with this. I am able to make the difference right now just because I can take from my previous experience elements where I see this cannot be real. What does it mean in 5 years? With, not the same experience. In 5 years, maybe, like Sam Altman was telling us, maybe it's not more possible to make the difference. And we must decide now how we want to act with this. Other very concrete answers was open up participation beyond election day through citizens' assemblies, real involvement in decisions that shape daily life, and ground policies in evidence and expertise. And for those reasons, all those questions and answers, it's exactly the reason why we launched at the Council of Europe with the member states, with the 46 member states, with the ambassadors that we have in Strasbourg, the new Democratic Pact for Europe. It was launched earlier this year. And what drives us is the conviction that democracy must be able to adapt to today's technological and geopolitical changes. There is no way back to the ancient world. We need to adapt to the world that we are witnessing today and make sure that we have strong democracies and strong institutions and strong participation in this new context. And by us, I mean governments, I mean parliaments, I mean regions, cities, international partners, the private sector, and civil society. Young people, also the not so young people, everyone with at stake in shaping democracy. And this new Democratic Pact for Europe is built on 3 pillars. Firstly, education, obviously, it's so important to nurture democratic culture. Second pillar is about protection, to reinforce democracy wherever it is in retreat. That means more or less everywhere. And the third pillar is about innovation, to adapt our institutions, what I was telling you before, to fast-moving cross-border hybrid threats. This pact is designed as an open process, and this summit here today is part of that effort, in my view. What we will do in the next 2 days is part also of that effort. And at its core, this pact is about cooperation and democratic adaptation, because in the end, as we know, democracy cannot stand still when the world around it is changing this fast. Democracy is not built for speed. That's the next question we need to address now. Democracy is not built for speed. It is built for durability. The decisions we make today must still work in 5, 10, even 20 or 30 years. And that is true for Ukraine, that is true for AI, that is true for climate change, for all the challenges of our time. You probably heard about Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo was 27 when his play Hernani defied censorship and challenged royal authority. You probably don't know Sophie Scholl. Sophie Scholl dropped leaflets calling for resistance to Nazi rule when she was 21, and she gave her life for it. Victor Hugo, Sophie Scholl did not wait for permission for doing this. They did not wait for perfect conditions for doing this. They used their voice as a force for change. And that That is exactly what Europe's democracy needs now. Patience for the long term, courage in the present, and the power of its youth. Thank you.